practicing spirituality and faith is self-care, you know, like having a connection to like the world around you.
I got a fishing pole and an electric cord.
And its promise for Baltimore is exciting, that we can put things like this in fragile neighborhoods.
My name is Stacy Rapp. I'm the owner, I guess, manager, whatever you want to call it, of Enchantment in New York City.
We're out for the day. We're invoking for the day. We want to bring a certain energy into the store. So we tend to do the days of the week. Today is Thursday, so this is Jupiter.
We sell a little bit of everything. We are what, I guess the best term for it would be an occult supply store, because we don't really sell, like, we don't do spells for people. We sell them the ingredients to do themselves. People can come in and either order or buy one of the spell kits to go, or they can come in and buy all the supplies and do it themselves. So our customers run the gamut from people who've never done this before but are interested, and people who've been doing it for years and just need to get, their herbs or incense or whatever to do their stuff at home. So we don't really say this is the right person or this is not. Like, anyone is welcome.
So a friend of mine found this on social media, and then we just decided to check it out one day, and we were free.
Part of our evolution is based on ritual and ceremony, and I feel like there's a place in it in our lives.
Well, these are the books. We also sell statues of different deities, as you can see. These are some
I got this spray one. No, it's
incense.
what I do.
Candles. These are candles that have the picture, sort of the purpose already on them. For people, these are about $6 or $7 each. These ones up here are for different deities, and then these ones are different magical purposes. So, herbs we got. These are the candles that we carve, like he's doing back here. And I don't know, that's about it. These are special candles. The ones that we generally make look like this, but he started doing 3D ones, and so he makes those special for people as well.
Last year for my birthday, I made myself one of these, and I thought it was a lot of fun, so I kept doing it. So the idea here is, like, I've taken the seal, right, you can see the star coming out of the cauldron, and then recreated it in 3 dimensions.
I think like practicing spirituality and faith is self-care, you know, like having a connection to like the world around you, what you stand for, what you believe in, and magic is a really good tool to facilitate finding out and answering those questions for yourself. You know, it's about self-transformation, self-betterment. It's positive most of the time, and it helps you feel like you have control in a world that sometimes feels very much out of our control. So this is your candle.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I bought my first parrot when I was 18 years old. I've had a parrot continuously since then. My last parrot I had for 35 years. I like the fact that it's a unique partnership between a parrot and a person.
What do you see?
They're independent, but they're still needy. They're happy to see you when you come home. It's a really special pet relationship.
Come on, baby. Come on.
And then we also have house call services. It's not just about training the bird. Sometimes we have to train the owner as well. So we have an associate that will go to your house, work with you, show you how to handle a bird, to make the bird a friendlier, more social bird. So Snowball is not really a typical cockatoo. He's actually very quiet and very friendly. A lot of the cockatoos are known for being extremely loud, and he has not been. So a lot of people are interested in this bird. But this bird is my daughter's bird, and I can't let anybody have my daughter's bird. And you can see that, like the baby up front, he's got a lot of yellow under the wing. What are you doing out?
How old is Snowball?
Snowball's about 3 years old now.
3 years.
Yeah. When you handle birds, inevitably you're going to get some wounds. Okay, so I have a lot of scratches and a lot of little nips from birds, where they're not really trying to hurt me. Sometimes it's just playfulness, and sometimes they're scared or they fall and they grab hold. This guy is a classic example of this. The scarlet macaw likes to just nip for fun. He thinks it's great fun. If he likes you and he's having fun, he'll just bite you. Bird ownership, it can be a little bit more liberating than dog ownership. So you're not quite as tied to the home as you are with a more traditional pet. You have a little bit more freedom and flexibility because the birds can fend for themselves a little bit better than a dog or a cat. You can actually read the printing on the back.
I've always loved doing things with my hands. And so I started working in the jewelry industry. I've always loved doing things with my hands. And so I started working in the jewelry industry. Everything in this workshop, for the most part, comes from Providence, Rhode Island. Providence, Rhode Island is where the industrial age starts in the United States, but it's also where the jewelry industry starts in the United States. So it's natural that it would come from there. I was already working in the jewelry industry when I discovered Providence. And when I discovered Providence, it was very much in the process of scrapping the last remnants of this early industrial age jewelry making. These are pieces of gold. I'm gonna stamp a couple of heads. This machine is from the mid-1800s. And so one of the things that I find interesting about this technology is the durability issue. The things I'm talking about are being die struck and die rolled, which means a lot of pressure between two pieces of steel. And so when we die strike something or die roll something, typically it's going to go at least a couple of generations. This jewelry was not ever meant to just be a pretty design. This is the beginning of when humans are able to have symbols. We are one moment before the industrial age starts. We have no symbols. We are not manufacturing anything, so they don't actually exist. And then all of a sudden, we have stepped into this world where we're doing art by means of mechanical reproduction, and now for the very first time, just sort of normal people can have a symbol.
These pieces are the ancestors of American metalsmithing, silversmithing, and they bring in a very tangible way, the processes, yes, the technical skills that are involved, yes, the meaning of what these pieces meant to people.
I wanted to see about getting...
When I come in, I love to be able to look and see that that the jewelry is made right here. Hugo is often here. It feels very personal. And the pieces, like I say, they're unique and beautiful, but they have they have a timelessness about them that just feels really good, and it feels like they kind of tell a story.
I really enjoy the entire scope of what's happening here. It's not just the preservation of the work, but it's the recreation of the works, and it's the selling of the works to the public so they all become part of our culture again.
What does it mean to have a full and meaningful life? And part of it is making things.
Japanese cherry blossoms. So I loosely, these are not cherry blossoms on top, they're little roses, but I made them pink and put glittery so they look kind of like cherry blossoms. I could pipe them, but I didn't do it this time. My name's Athena Hinman, and I am 33 years old. My current occupation is I'm a co-owner of Antoinette's Bathhouse. So I sling soap. My grandmother was very artistic. She actually dabbled in everything, and she did a little bit of everything. And when I was growing up, she actually taught me how to make bath bombs, but not like they are now. We used to put them in ice cube trays, and then I would use them obviously afterwards. But she taught me how to do that, and we would make little melt and pour soaps and scrapbooking and making hair bows and stuff. And then I would sell it to the neighbors, and I kind of really got into just artistic stuff. And as I got older, my grandmother passed away, and she left me all of her crafts. And when my grandfather passed away, I felt like it was time to go ahead and start going through her stuff. And I started pulling out the soaping stuff and all the little recipes she had and started making soap myself. And it's just kind of been one of those things. I did it as a craft, but I wanted to make more, and in order to do that, I had to buy the products, and I didn't have the money to do that. So I had to sell what I made. And then, I was able to buy more fragrances and stuff, because who wants to use the same scent every single day? For my fragrance oils, I have a whole bunch. You see, we have them alphabetical. That doesn't always mean they're in the right spot. But I can pretty much make anything anybody comes and requests, because I'm a fragrance whore and I've collected so many. Today we've been making frankincense and myrrh bath steamers or shower steamers. And they have real frankincense and myrrh resin on top. And that's actually just for decoration, nothing more than that. But it has frankincense and myrrh essential oils. It helps relax the body. You throw it in the corner of your shower. It has menthol in it, so it clears your sinuses out, makes you smell great. Really good for morning time when you're just getting up to go to work. No matter who you are, you should have some kind of skill and be able to know how to make something of some sort.
So the best of the best is what we bring out to our sales floor.
You come in, you get what you want, and they close at a reasonable hour. You can still get off from work and come and pick up a few things and then go home and prepare dinner. But, the other stores, they stay open a little bit late, but you have to ride far. And with the gas getting as high as it's getting, I like to do everything on the way home. And if I can find everything I want on the way home and the price is good, I'm stopping right there.
We started taking a look, and we thought, we need to open a grocery store where affordable food can be to be had. Food education and nutrition is an issue, and that's what we're trying to address. We know it's a long bridge to get through, and we also know that you just can't tell somebody to eat it. You've got to show them what it is, how to cook it, what it tastes like, and the joy of cooking. Part of our mission is to strengthen that family table, right? Because even people in middle class America, that's a problem. What they do, they eat on the run. So what we're trying to do is encourage people in our area to sit down with their families, cook a meal, and eat.
What do you think of the store?
I think it's wonderful. I like little stores that I can get around and don't have to wait an hour to get out of the store. And there's not enough in here to get me to buy more than what I need. That's what I like about it. And the staff are great. People work here are great. And I love it because it provides an opportunity for people who don't have stores like this to shop in one without paying for transportation to get out and can't carry stuff home. And it's also a store where you can come every week and just buy a bag full and you're okay. And that's what I like about it.
Our business model is really to break even, right? If we do better than that, then the proceeds from this will go to support our program called Catherine's Cottage for women who've been rescued from human trafficking. So if we were to receive any type of profit, it would go into another service of the Salvation Army.
The business started in 1970 by Doyle Owens, Doyle and his wife Sue, and he was a part-time insurance salesman at the time. And he had a friend in the area that had a thrift store, and the concept came together, and so he borrowed $300 from one grandfather and a pickup truck from the other. So by the mid-70s, they started going after the airline industry and securing some of those contacts, and moved here to where we are on Willow Street. Of course, the property was not as large then as it is now.
I think I come here probably 2 or 3 times a week and just look around because they always have something new.
So the best of the best is what we bring out to our sales floor. Things that just meet different criteria, from just how much they're worn, if it's an older brand, the quality, things of that nature. And so we bring out, the better items that we stock to our sales floor. And that mainly applies to apparel. Several years ago, we had a men's Presidential Platinum Rolex watch that was appraised for $64,000, and we sold it for $32,000.
I found LuLaRoe leggings for like a little over $10 when normally they're like $40.
I got a fishing pole and an electric cord.
Of a gentleman who was passing through on business and bought a pair of ski boots for his wife. And they just were a great deal and looked like something that she would like in her size. And so he gets back home and she opens up the tongue of the boot because she says these look really familiar, and there was her maiden name, and she had lost them a couple years before on a trip.
It's funny because my favorite saying is fairly recent. The idea that we tend to overestimate short-term gains and underestimate long-term successes.
You're in the home of the largest collection of posters for sale in the world, with posters from virtually every country and every theme. Probably 500,000 posters, and there are all types of art, from little labels for perfume or water, labels for axe handles or sardines, for beer or wine, and then of course larger posters and prints of all types. A hotel was being renovated, and I bought the contents of the basement, which were the trunks. And inside the trunks, I found 3 letters from the Wright brothers. And I sold those for, I think, $1,200, which 45 years ago was a great deal of money. From World War I, and this is what I was talking about, messages being sent. So I've been long one of the bigger buyers of interesting political, and especially Russian. I've had thousands of really great Russian posters. This is by Charest selling a lamp oil, which didn't have any odor and was really very good.
They're like really unique and you can't find them anywhere else. So when you're like missing a huge piece and you try to search for how the piece looks, like you don't know how it looks. So we just try to use our imagination to see how we're gonna draw this part that is missing. We pieced it in, and then we just used the color pencils to basically draw in this whole part that was missing. This was missing, this whole part was missing as well.
I was buying the types of posters that other people weren't buying, primarily in Europe.
I just bumped into the store and I came in because I'm very interested in Puerto Rico posters of from the 60s, from protest era type of. I love the colors and I love the fonts, and of course I'm looking for the year I was born.
I'm always buying new and old. There's always something that's happening today that's interesting and worthy of saving. And so I've always concentrated on ephemeral art and fashions and fads, because they quickly disappear and the art quickly disappears as well if someone doesn't save it.
I look forward to every day to work. There's always something new, something exciting. I mean, the restaurant business in itself is a dynamic business, always changing. And you know, it's where people come to connect and meet. And this is my place of work. It's a great space to be in. I don't have to leave an office to come to eat. This is my office and this is my space, and I can have a great time here and meet people here. I've learned so many things, I think, in life. You know, I'm 60 years old. I just turned 60. I've learned that facing your fear is the best way to get rid of it. I stuttered as a kid, and finally I met this therapist who said, you know, stuttering is about being afraid. It's about being afraid of speaking. So you have to say, own it, own the fear, and stutter more, and feel comfortable with your stuttering. And I thought, she must be crazy. What do you mean stutter more? She said, when you stutter more, you let go of that fear. And sure enough, with stuttering more, I was able to get rid of my speech impediment. I tend to get in trouble for using words that people are not supposed to generally use. So I'm very colorful in my language. I'm trying to be uncolorful because I'm on camera right now. But I love words, I have to say, because I asked someone, I said, you know, it's really hard to read poetry sometimes. Like, reading poetry is not something that is comfortable for a lot of people. And the person that advised me said, read the words. And I started reading the words and enjoying the words. I live in a word world. So it's very exciting for me when I hear people using words in a way that is creative and exciting and makes you pause. I don't try to limit myself in what I say and what I don't say. And I think, you know, I take the rights that this country affords very seriously. I really do. I'm an Arab and I'm a Muslim. There's a price these days to be an Arab and a Muslim in this country, you know, with all the disparaging comments and things that are going on around us. I mean, I think this is a country that I chose to become a citizen. I didn't have to become a citizen. I chose to become a citizen. The reason why is because of the values this country has. You know, Langston Hughes wrote about those values, and he wrote about how important those values are. So he says, let America be America again. You know, and you have to ask, like, what is that again he's talking about? What he's talking about is the original idea that the dreamers dreamed, the idea of equality and freedom and love and all of that. And so for me, I always go back to, you know, what makes me an American. And it's about the freedom and the ability to say whatever I want to say, whenever I want to say it.